Okay, let's pull back the curtain on one of the unsung heroes of the internet. It's this invisible force that keeps your entire digital world running smoothly. And honestly, the best way to get your head around it is to think of it like a smart thermostat, but, for the entire internet. I mean, have you ever really thought about that? How millions, and I mean millions, of people can all decide to watch the new hit show at the exact same time, and the whole thing just works? Well, it's not magic, that's for sure. It's a solution to a massive, massive challenge. And this is the heart of the problem. For any website or online service, traffic is just a wild roller coaster. You get these huge peaks, like a new movie dropping or a story going viral, and then you have these super quiet valleys, like in the middle of the night. Trying to manage that manually, it's a total headache.
So, in the old days, you were stuck between a rock and a hard place. It was a no-win situation. On one hand, if you don't have enough servers, your site crashes the second it gets popular. That's a disaster. But on the other hand, if you buy enough servers to handle that giant traffic spike, well, most of the time they're just sitting there, doing nothing, completely wasting your money and electricity. It's the classic feast or famine problem.
So, how do you get out of that trap? You stop thinking in fixed numbers and you start getting smart. You need a system that can adapt on its own. And that right there is where autoscaling comes in. It really does act just like a smart thermostat for your house. So here's the big idea. Autoscaling isn't about having a ton of servers. It's about having the perfect number of servers at any given moment. The system automatically adds more computing power when traffic goes crazy, and then, just as importantly, it scales it all back down when things quiet down. And the best part? No human has to lift a finger.
And the way it works is actually a pretty simple continuous loop. First, the system is constantly monitoring key things, like how hard the servers are working. Think of it like checking the room temperature. Then, if one of those measurements crosses a line you set, a threshold, like, the servers are at 80% capacity, that triggers step 3. The system automatically adjusts by adding or removing servers to get everything back to that perfect level. Simple, right? Now, of course, for this whole loop to work, you have to give the system a really clear set of rules. This is basically the playbook. It's how you tell that smart thermostat exactly what to do and when to do it. And this table just breaks it down perfectly. The metric is just what you're watching. That's the temperature reading. The scaling policy is the rule you create. Like, hey, if the temp gets above 22 degrees, turn on the AC. And then you have your min-max size. These are your guardrails, right? You're telling the system, never go below this many servers, but also, let's not go crazy and spend too much. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful set of controls. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is the engine that powers the biggest services you use every single day. The tech giants literally could not exist at their current scale without this stuff. Just look at this timeline. Amazon Web Services kicked it off way back in 2009. And then, pretty quickly, you see all the other major cloud providers jump on board. They realized this wasn't just some nice-to-have feature, it was an absolute necessity for running modern, large-scale applications. It became the industry standard, fast. I love this quote from Netflix because it gives you this fantastic insight into real-world strategy. They scale up aggressively, instantly adding servers the second demand spikes. But they're super cautious and slow about scaling back down. So why do they do that? Because for a company like Netflix, the user experience is everything. They would much rather overspend a tiny bit on a few idle servers than risk even 1 second of that dreaded buffering wheel for a customer. And the benefits aren't just about performance, they're about efficiency too. Get this, Facebook reported a massive 27% drop in energy use during their quiet hours. By automatically powering down all those unneeded servers, autoscaling saves a ton of money, sure, but it also saves a significant amount of electricity. Okay, but wait, it gets even smarter. Autoscaling does more than just manage traffic. It's also kind of self-healing. If a single server fails, doesn't matter why, could be hardware, could be software, the system spots the problem, terminates that broken unit, and instantly launches a brand new, perfectly healthy replacement. This creates this incredible level of reliability, all happening automatically in the background. But of course, the technology is not standing still. The next big leap is all about moving from just reacting to what's happening right now to intelligently predicting what's about to happen. So this shows the two big approaches. What we've mostly been talking about is reactive scaling. That's like your thermostat turning on the AC after it's already gotten too hot in the room.
But predictive scaling, well, that's the future. It uses AI and historical data to see that the sun is about to come out, and it turns on the AC before the room even gets a chance to warm up. And the impact here is absolutely huge. Netflix's predictive engine, they call it Scryer, is a perfect example. It's way, way better at handling those massive demand spikes, like a global premiere of a new show, because it gets all the servers ready in advance. That ensures a perfectly smooth, buffer-free launch for millions and millions of viewers all at once. And that kind of leaves us with this fascinating final thought. We started this whole thing talking about crashing websites, but with systems that can predict traffic jams and even hardware failures before they happen, are we heading towards a future where digital downtime, that dreaded 404 not found era, just becomes a thing of the past? It's something to think about.